Out of 26 unhappy customers, only one is going to complain about your service and the rest will never come back. So it is important to understand that when customers are silent at the end of the service, it is not the customers are happy. Always keep in mind that sometimes that silence is because they were unsatisfied about the service. Most businesses don't lose customers because they do a bad work. It is because they look disorganized, and you have to understand that people don't only buy results, they also want to feel confident that the company knows what they are doing. In this video, I'm going to show you a few easy key points that you can change to your company that are going to make sure you look organized and you can project the professionalism so the customers can keep coming to your door. My name is Pedro and I have a fitness equipment delivery and installation company in Canada. We have been working for the past 10 years in commercial and residential installs, and what I have learned is that experience is as important as the result. So I'm just going to show you a few key things that I do in my business, and believe me, if you apply them in yours, you're going to keep customers coming back and they're going to be referring your company too. The first thing we're going to be discussing is professionalism and systems. Now, in my company, it was a no-brainer getting a CRM. The CRM is going to make you look so much more professional. Believe me, you don't want to skip this section. You're going to be able to stay more organized. You don't want to be using Excel sheets, for example, receipts. You don't want to do them in Excel or anything like that. The CRM is going to give you all the tools to look professional. You're going to be able to send automations like text messages to customers, keep them informed, and that is going to give the projection that they are working with a company and not just with a guy and a truck. Second point we're going to be talking about are going to be the company image. Now, depending on the service business you have, in our case, we have a transportation company because we deliver and install gym equipment. The vehicles are quite important. Now, in our case, and I think this is optional, having the vehicles wrapped with the company's logo, definitely it's going to give a very nice impact to the customers. But I would say it is optional in case if you're starting the business and you don't have a ton of money. What is important though is that the vehicle makes sense to the service you're offering. Now, if you have a moving company and you're just going to use a pickup truck, that is not going to make you look professional. Just simply because what happens if it rains and you have the customer's stuff at the back of the vehicle? You want to have a proper vehicle that shows the customer that you know what you're doing. So in this case, if you have a moving company, of course, you want to try to do your best to get a moving truck. So that one's pretty important. Point number 3 is uniforms. Now, the importance for the uniforms is it adds professionalism to the team that is walking into the house offering the service. You have to understand that if you have a plumbing company just walking inside of your house and they do not have a uniform, it gives the perception that maybe these people were just simply hired from the street. You don't really know if these people got a background check, if they were trained. So having the uniform at least speaks that these people had to go through some sort of a training. So that is the importance of having people with uniforms. The perception of the customer has is way higher than when they don't have it. 4th point is customer service training. So I don't want you guys to get confused with the training about the job on how to do the job, because this one is how to interact with the customer. You have to create a standard operating procedure. In our case, in our company, we have a few simple ones like letting the customer when you're going to arrive, telling the customer how long the installation is going to take. But there is one that is super important, and that is when a customer is going to ask you for a favor. Sometimes this can be related to the same service that you're offering, but sometimes it can be completely unrelated. What we tell our technicians is do not take the lead. Inform the office. You have to understand that the technicians at the customer's home, the office, and sometimes we are going to take the decision to deny offering this extra service that the customer is requesting, and you do not want to have any kind of a friction in between the customer and the technician, because of course they are right there, and the experience can be way worse. So just in our case, that's the way we do it. In your business, you're gonna have to find a different way or maybe a different operating system, but what you want to keep in mind is that it has to be consistent every single time. The next segment is communication and confidence. Now guys, you have to understand that when a customer receives an appointment reminder, they are 40% less likely to cancel the appointment. And the best way to do this is by having automated text reminders. Guys, you have to understand that people do not cancel because they are rude. People cancel because they forgot about the appointment. So the way how we do it in our CRM, so for example, today, we see the customers that we're gonna be doing in 2 days from now. We're gonna do the routing, check which customer is gonna go first, which customer we're gonna do second. We'll assign the arrival time window, and then we're gonna do a single click, and it's gonna send the text messages to the customers, letting them know what time the team is gonna be arriving, and that is gonna confirm the appointment. So the next key part about communication and confidence is tone and language. Guys, this one's super important. I know that every single one of us have hired moving companies in the past, and as soon as you have stairs, the moving company is always going to pretend like it is the most difficult thing, and that is going to give you a perception that these guys are going to charge you really expensive, and maybe they don't even know what they are doing, and that is wrong. Always what you want to do is give confidence to the customer. So you have to tell the customer that that is easy, you got it under control, but of course you have to tell the customer that it's going to take an X amount of time. For example, maybe moving from one house to another, it might take 4 hours, it might take the whole day, it might take multiple days, but nothing is difficult. This part is actually very important to add confidence to the customer. Nothing is difficult, you know how to do it, and it is just simply going to take an X amount of time. And the last important thing here is managing expectations. This one's key, super important. If you are driving to the customer's location and the GPS says that you're going to be there in 30 minutes, make sure when you call the customer, you mention that you are going to be there in 40 minutes. If you tell the customer you're arriving in the same 30 minutes and then it just simply takes you 1 or 2 extra minutes, you already lost trust from the customer. For example, if you're quoting a job that is going to take you a day and a half, you want to tell the customer that it's going to take 2 days. If you finish it in a day and a half, that is perfect, job completed. If it takes you more than a day and a half, the customer already made plans and they were hoping that you were going to be done when you said you were going to be done. So always take that little space in consideration. And the last segment is having a retention mindset. And the first step is creating an initial follow-up system. It is known that 90% of the customers, if they have issue during the service, if you solve them quickly enough, these customers are always going to come back to your business. The way how we do this in our CRM is every single time a job is completed, we send the customer a text message asking them for a review or a feedback on the service. Of course, something went wrong. Believe me, we are going to fix that issue right away. But the takeaway is that every single customer you service needs to receive a follow-up text message or email right away, just making sure that the whole service went well. This is going to give the customer perception that you are a reliable business. It is make you look professional, and it is just simply going to keep bringing customers to your door every single day. The next step is building social proof. Now, I want to go back when I was talking to you guys about the text message that we sent to our customers asking for a review. In our case, in our business, we have over 500 positive reviews. We're actually 5 stars. We do have some bad reviews, of course, but we have been very successful with the experience that we have given to the customers. Now, this has given us credibility. You cannot imagine how many customers have called me saying that the only reason why they hired us because we are the company that has the most amount of reviews and the most positive reviews. So this one is one that you want to really build. Something that people sometimes forget is about the bad reviews. Bad reviews, you don't want to, I don't even know if it is possible to delete them, but seriously, you do not want to delete bad reviews. These ones are way more important than the positive reviews. Let me explain why. Most customers are going to be checking your reviews, but believe me, they are going to scroll all the way down and they're going to check for the bad reviews and they want to know how you handle these issues. It is very important that you do not get emotional when you're answering these reviews. You got to make sure, for example, in our case, a machine, we had an issue with a customer that left us a bad review. The machine was not properly assembled. We know that it was our fault. We contacted the customer right away and we explained the review exactly what we did. So we went back right away, we fixed the machine, we made sure the customer was happy, and we gave the customer the money back because the full process was not up to our standard. You have to understand that this answer is gold. Even though it is a 1-star review, when the customers read the answer to you, and the explanation that you gave to the customer and the way you handle it, automatically this is a 5-star review. It doesn't matter if it says a 1-star review, the perception of the customer, how you handle it, it is a 5-star review. And the last step we follow is staying on top of the customer's mind. Now, the way we do this, it is proven that contacting the customer like once every 3 months, every 6 months, and does something that doesn't look that salesy is going to keep the customers interested in the business. So what we do, of course, if we follow this pattern, we send the customers an email or a text message offering a preventive maintenance or some sort of a service every 3 or 6 months, and that is going to keep reminding the customer about the existence of our business. And this was a key point. And that's it for this video about customers retention. Don't forget to comment below what other business topic you want us to talk about. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and remember, the best businesses don't have more leads, they have fewer customers leaving. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.